Hey, Shalom, Shalom, want to start off. So, always begin no praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakodash, the honors the apostle, great millstone, and honors you brothers doing the work, the most in truth and in sincerity. Yahweh's real name, of whom the world ignorantly calls God, Jehovah. Yahweh's real name is Yahweh. His son's true name is Yahweh Shai. And when we pray Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba meaning in, Ha meaning then, Sham meaning name. So Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. This is a quick one. I was just watching these. I watch these guys every now and then. Quite like these guys. Obviously they're in the world. So they got some off opinions or whatever, what have you. But a lot of the times, they talk in a balanced kind of way. But basically, I was watching this one, and this individual here that you see on screen basically started talking, and I was listening. I was like, bro, this guy's basically talking shit, right? And I noticed that it's what you call it, board certified couple psychologist, right? Now it could be just a psychologist. I don't know whether he sits down and he speaks with couples or whatever, what have you. But I was thinking the scriptures basically speak about not going into affairs that don't what's the word I'm looking for, that don't involve you, man. Right? Scripture says no man knoweth. In fact, let's grab that. Right. This is Proverbs 30 and 18. Says there be three things which are too wonderful for me, yea, four which I know not: the way of an eagle in the air, the way of a serpent upon the rock, the way of a ship in the midst of the sea. And this is the fourth, right, which I know not. It says, and the way of a man with a maid. Right. So how a man is with his woman, that's not the business of anyone, else outside of that relationship, right? So as long as ain't no bloody wickedness going on, but as in like adultery and whatever, what have you, right? But what happens in this world is these couples therapy, couples counseling, and it's like all of that stuff. You ain't supposed to be doing that, man. Right? That is outside your jurisdiction. Just like how an American cop can't see me in London and arrest me, right? Is the same way you can't go into a man's relationship and then basically start telling his woman, because that's what a lot of these guys was telling the woman, do this, do that, because that individual that you saw on screen, he was basically saying the problem is with you men, right? And this is one of the reasons why this world is upside down, because the Lord basically has an order, right, of the way that he wants. So I'm gonna hold off on that one. I was actually gonna get something first, right? This is one of the reasons the world's upside down, because the scriptures aren't basically in effect, right? It says Isaiah 29:16, surely you're turning things upside down, shall be esteemed as the potter's clay, for shall the works of him that made it, he made me know, or shall the thing framed of him that say of him that framed it, he had no understanding, right? So everything is upside down, right? Because the laws aren't in effect, right? They've basically just thrown the words of the Lord behind them, as the scriptures say, right? Esau's basically set up this world where a woman has come past a man, right? And that's one of the things that was being covered in that video, right? The fact that nowadays you've got these women that have basically usurped the position of being a primary breadwinner, but then don't want to do any of the things that a primary breadwinner did, right? So they're basically talking about, and they basically Esau's created a society where women, began all these cushy jobs that, these close to six figure and then six figure plus jobs. But instead of being primary caregiver, primary breadwinner, which that ain't the position anyway, right? Scriptures talk about when a woman maintaineth her husband, she's full of much reproach, right? Which goes to show the scriptures are true, right? Because you see it when you hear these women talk, they're talking about having six-figure salaries, but then what do they want? They want a guy who's making even more than them, right? Whereas a man on six figures is more than happy to take care of his woman that just stays at home, right? But basically, what else is one of those things that have helped women to achieve that, right? Is Esau and his allowing these bros to just in mass kill their children, man, right? That's why when you meet women that are in the that are quote unquote successful, a lot of them have what do you call it? Have graveyards for books, and this is Isaiah 10:1 warns them that the decree on righteous decrees and right grievousness which they have prescribed. Right, when you see what do you call it? A 32-year-old executive or a manager in one of these like corporate roles, you think she ain't been having sex since she was 18. No, she has been having sex since she was 18, right? And then one of those times an accident happened, and then she was like, no, my career is more important, right? And who has created this? Who has, written legislation? Who has usurped the minds of the people to think that that is a correct thing to do? This devil, right? And as such, he'll pay for that, man. Okay. And hey, not only Esau, all of these women as well that have joined in. This is Ecclesiasticus, the book of Sirach, 11 and 10 says, my son, meddle not with many matters, right? For if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent. And if thou follow after, thou shalt not obtain, neither shalt thou escape by fleeing. Right? So a meddle not in many matters. I remember there was a Apostle Rhymelab gave a testimony. He was asking for advice, women advice. He went to Apostle Tahar, and Apostle Tahar was like, look, man, that's on you. And Apostle Ron was, no, I wasn't. Apostle was like, nah, look, man, that's on you. Because once again, as we read in the book of Proverbs, right, no man knoweth the way. No man knoweth the way. There are certain things that are okay between you and, you and your missus, right? That another brother might be like, yeah, I don't know about all of that, and just like in their relationship, that's just not something they do. Obviously, when it comes to breaking the law, that's different, right? I'm not talking about that, but it's just there's certain ways that brother will deal with his chick in contrast with another brother will deal with his chick, because at the end of the day, that union, right, has been put together by the Most High. This is Matthew 19, and I think it's a bit, 19 and 4 says, and he answered and said unto them, have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female? Right? He then said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. So they actually go from being two individuals and then they become one. That's why would do Akim say, starts basically getting your spirit, right? I remember because you read the scriptures, but certain times it then actually just really dawns on you what this is saying, right? You are you're let me finish this. It says, wherefore they are no more twain but one flesh. What therefore the Most High hath joined together, let no man put asunder. So what this is saying here is, when you're a woman, it's the Most High that's actually put the two of you together, right? All of the different paths and this, that, and the other basically leads to you and that woman being together, and the Most High wanted that to happen, right? And the fact that you're becoming one flesh, start considering why the Most High is against adultery so much, right? Because it's just like it's just confusion, man. It ain't right, because that you and that woman are now one, and then now someone else is going all up in there, right? But that's one of the things that are going to end in this world, right? Because Israel, we going to be fully righteous, right? And with, what's the word I'm looking for? Right, and with these heathen nations, if we even have a whiff that is happening, hey, we're going to calm down, we're going to sort it out, right? Because a confusion, there's in that stuff there is confusion, man. That's why, for instance, in this world, the scriptures, Yahusha referred to it as a wicked and adulterous generation, right? But that ain't gonna be the case in our kingdom, right? There was a point I was trying to make, because I'm trying to remember what it was. But yeah, basically, man, the Lord's the one that puts two, a man and a woman together, right? And then what some of these counselors will do is like, oh well, maybe you should just get a divorce. No, that ain't something for you to say, right? Now, once again, in this time around, scriptures talk about because all the wisdom is in the scriptures, right? Not in these relationship counselors, not in this, not in that, right? It's in these scriptures, man, right? How relationships are supposed to be, how to treat your woman, right? How she should treat you. Rather, let me start there. How your woman should treat you, right? In fact, let me start from here. How we should treat the Most High, right? And then how our woman should treat us, and then how we should deal with them, right? Because the reason why we ain't got our women is because we haven't been right with the Lord, because we ourselves are regarded rather likened unto a woman, right? In the book of Jeremiah, right? I've likened Israel unto a tender and delicate woman, roughly paraphrasing. Right? So we're the Lord's woman, and we ain't right. We've been going off. So as punishment, that's one of the reasons our women are going off, and they ain't right. This is 1 Corinthians 7:12, but to the rest speak. And once again, once you know that, you're kind of like, meh. She'll do something. She's like, meh. Scriptures talk about deal with her as according to the weaker vessel, right? Because you understand what it is that you're dealing with, right? But that's why it comes to this precept here in 1 Corinthians 7:12. But to the rest speak I, not the Lord. If any brother have the wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away, right? And that's it. When a woman's pleased to dwell, she's just there, she's doing what she's doing. It's like, cool, you stay with her, right? But as soon as she starts becoming a hindrance, right, trying to stop you from going to camp, trying to stop you from doing the work of the Lord, right, a hindrance to this truth, a hindrance to your and her salvation. Because that's one thing, women that do that don't realize, right? They're actually hurting their own salvation. Because if they are married to a man of the Lord and they stay by his side, she gonna be cool, right? But that's that short-sightedness. But yeah, man, I said, this world's just off, man. You ain't supposed to be all getting all up in a man's business with how he deal with how he deals with his woman or whatever, what have you, right? It says 1 Peter 4:15 says, but let none of you suffer as a murderer or as a thief or as an evildoer or as a busybody in other men's matters, right? And a woman, and how a man deals with a woman, that's another man's matters, man, right? Once again, obviously, if as long as ain't no wickedness going on against the scriptures, like you hear a man doing his woman up the boot, you got to curse that man out, man. That's sodomy, right? That ain't right according to the law, right? Because there was even, let's not even speak about that. You ain't supposed to be doing it in the booty, man. And some so-called leader of Israel say you could do it in the butt. That's off, man. Okay. Let me see. I think it's this one. This is 1 Timothy 5:13 says, and withal they learn to be idle, wandering from house to house. And this is here represents the modern woman completely, right? Going from house to house, being idle, not doing anything. Because when you watch that video on that channel, you basically see they're just basically bimbos, man, as Apostle Ricard called them many years ago, dildo heads, man, right? It says and not only idle but tattlers also, right? Let's look up some of these words. Of person uttering or doing silly things, garrulous. That's an interesting word. What the hell does that mean? Given to prosy rambling or tedious. I hate when they do that. But and especially when they've just got the easy definition there. It says pointlessly or annoyingly talkative. That's it, man. Oh shit. That's it, man. Just talking shit, basically. I like that word, man. Babbling, right, of things foolish, trifling, vain, right? And so what, but that was that word, tattlers also, and busybodies, right? Busy about trifles, neglectful of important matters, busy about other folks' affairs. And that's another thing. He's like, why are these women, even you have certain women that are married to a husband and they'll go to these relationship coaches, behind their man's back, speaking to him, speaking to the counselor. Oh yeah, my husband there, and then he's the counselor's basically telling her things that she ain't supposed to be hearing, right? If there's anything they should know is just listen to your husband, man, right? In righteousness. It says it says of things impertinent and superfluous, right? It says speaking things which they ought not, right? And that can in itself can cover a whole load of things, right? But yeah, it was supposed to just be a quick one, man. So, laws, what I was edifying. Till next time we say shalom.